that walk of yours could melt the sun, but you done walked up on the one who will knock you down to your knees. Get on down, baby, get on down. I won't be your old plaything. You can step off with your plaything. Ain't got time for games, get going. Get gone, baby, get gone. I see I've gotta teach you. That's the only way to reach you. Must have forgot that I'm grown. So move on. Hey, you gotta move on, mister. Need to know. Baby, I am over you. Move on, mister. Need to know. Baby, I'm so wait, let me shut this down. Had the softer side of me, and then you wanna sleep around. Never a nag, no a question. Like where the you been? Let me make a confession. New boyfriend. He's all that I need. I'm so over you. You never kept it real with me, therefore I'm leaving you. Hating your energy. Move on, boo boo. On top of that, he got that good. Move on, Mr. Need to know.
This one, Over You, by April Sampei. This one produced by Beats Beneath featured producer and special guest JSOUL. Up next, we're going to jump into Wordsworth and JSOUL with a track called Satellite. This is off of Blame It on the Music, one of my favorites off of that joint. Stay locked, y'all. We got a long way to go.
You got to move on, baby. You got to move on, baby.
Honey Drop.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving, baby.
Knowing you the way that you
Before I was your favorite rapper in your top 5, got put on, wrote a song, later saw my stock rise. Fatherless child, worth nothing in my pop's eyes. Daddy didn't care, so why would the cops try? Welfare, spam in a can, eating pot pies, KFC, Popeyes, buckets or the box size, selling food stamps. Babies on the block died, ain't have a chance like an avalanche rock slide. No dentist and doctor we could drop by. Healthcare was Robitussin and peroxide. Just the haves and the have-nots, it was lopside. MSNBC is bias and Fox lie. In the game, people ran base and did not slide. Locked up, gotta keep your head up like a pop fly. In your car, somebody driving, you get shot by. Rather run a light than stop at the stop sign. Interviewers keep asking where the lyrics are. You could look near or far, I'm hotter than the nearest star. Sweat before you hear a bar, never ever fearing y'all. The answers, here they are, valet, prepare to call. A man of wisdom, knowledge, I command the rhythm. Blow your mind before you know it like an aneurysm. Stop your flow like a pulmonary embolism. My mannerisms is vitriol with vandalism. New York corrupt, California out of water. Detroit bankrupt, Texas blocking the borders. Drug transporters driving in Ford Explorers. Positive urine, ignoring the judge's orders. From pregnancy, life expectancy is shorter. Something in the food got the kids growing taller. The rich getting richer, the poor getting poorer. The US dollar and the quarter getting smaller. Radio, you live on air, next caller. Google me, Safari, Internet Explorer. Out in foreign waters in Bora Bora, watching Law and Order. Laying, playing Midnight Marauders. LP is a classic, help me I was asking. Promoted myself, then they felt me in the masses. Bad hand they dealt me, now wealthy using plastic. Ratchet, pose and take a selfie at your casket. Zoom in, fisheye, zoom lens, 4K background, looking like the room bends. Property goes up when I move in, business booming, satellite tuned in.
Honey Drop.
All right, y'all. That track there, that's Satellite off of Blame It on the Music. That album fully produced by JSOUL with Wordsworth, or for Wordsworth. And got a lot of acclaim on that one. Was ranked at #1 on the college circuit in the United States. So big album, big tune. Now, it's about that time, right? The whole purpose of us being here this afternoon is to take in the latest release by JSOUL.
Indeed.
Yes, and this is a piece of artistry that has taken years for him to feel ready to expose it and release the thing. And I'm really thankful and feeling rather blessed to have him here on the second day of its release to talk to us about it, right?
Yeah, very poetic there, Lucia.
I try to be when I'm touched and inspired by things.
I can always
that's
tell
how
when
it
you kind
goes.
of pause to try to get the right words out. You're obfuscating.
I don't like this guy sometimes. I tell you the truth.
Why don't we just call JSOUL, get him on the line?
Let's call him.
Right,
so we're gonna get him on the line, and then we're gonna get into this thing, man. If you haven't had the opportunity to hear Neutronic Suite as yet, slap yourself. But more importantly, jump onto Bandcamp, Apple, iTunes Store, Google Play Store. It's on Tidal. It's on SoundCloud. There's absolutely no way for you not to have taken this in as yet. So yes, you must do that, right?
Of course. I mean, JSOUL's been working on this for a long time. I was very interested to see what the final interpretation was, right? So,
Yes.
kind of
Now,
excited about that.
I'm very excited. Now, JSOUL, as far as iLive is concerned, very much family to a major degree. He is a past Soulfest artist, and to see the work and the passion behind what he did in that arena in the live realm, to know that this was coming and then get to finally hear it, well worth the journey, right? So do we have the man on the line?
JSOUL, are you there, my friend? It says in voice call.
In voice call.
Yeah, man. Can we try him again?
I can't hear Mr. JSOUL.
Can we try him again?
We should try him again.
All right.
It's always a text something with me, eh? But it's okay.
Every time you come here,
it's
some
always a
tech
text
nonsense
something.
that goes on with you.
I swear. So you know what? You're just gonna have to wait. I'm gonna get into another track. Let's see where I can go. You know what? Let's go back a few years. This track called "Till You Return." This one is featuring Easy Jackson. This one came out, if my memory serves me correctly, I want to say about 2015, 14. But let's take a run into that, and then we'll get Mr. JSOUL on and start this listening party. All right? Stay locked, y'all. This is Honey Drop. Oh,
there you go.
Oh,
there you go.
Hello?
I hear you. There he is.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So, Jay, so thank you so much for being here with us this afternoon.
Absolutely, my honor.
I know it's
thank you guys for having me.
It's absolutely our honor, and it's exciting times for you right now, right? So, how are you feeling?
I feel relieved. I'm really happy that it's out there. There's no turning back now.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm just excited to see how people receive the record, but also just how it affects them, because I made it with a purpose in mind.
Right.
And, I like to see how other people interpret it and how it affects them, and what it's going to do for them moving forward, and just also who I can influence and touch later on.
So let's talk about that a little bit. Roll into it. You just touched on it being a journey. And he said to keep my opinions, but I'm not for this moment. But that's exactly how, in my listening, I interpreted it. It did seem to completely take you through something on a travel, right? And I know that this is a very close album to you. Talk about that just a little bit before we start to listen to it. So conceptually, there's a place to place, start your foothold at.
Yeah. So basically, the title of the album, being Neutronic Suite, was a play on kind of like words and genres of music. A neutron star is the story behind the album, and so basically, a neutron star is something that is a result of a supernova.
Right.
Okay, and so a supernova basically is when a star kind of reaches its last point of existence, and it transpires or it explodes or dies. And as it does that, it creates this amazing cluster of stars and colors. They're very vibrant. They're very beautiful to look at. They're very pleasing to the eye. And so when that happens, you can see it. It's like greens and blues and reds and purples and oranges. It's really pretty. And it's one of the most beautiful things you'll ever see. However, in order for that to happen, something has to die.
Right.
A star has to die. And so it was kind of symbolic of where I was as an artist and kind of putting away my vocal situation and being a vocal artist and performing artist and transitioning into being a full-time producer.
And was that a difficult thing to do? Because, you know, the first song we started with, Beautiful Nights, absolutely, and when you came for Soul Fest, you singing is a beautiful thing, right? So I'm sure coming up, you know, beautiful thing. So as you're coming up, you know, you're singing, but you also have this ability to create sounds, like the melodies behind what a voice can do. Was it a hard decision to say, you know what, let me put down that side of it and focus here? Or do you think that this is where you were more aligned and sort of destined to kind of walk towards?
I think at the end of the day, I think this is where I was supposed to be all along. But I enjoy singing. I enjoy performing. However, I noticed that, you know, in the beginning of my career, a lot of the ideas I had musically, I couldn't necessarily translate when I was working with other producers. I couldn't get the exact sound I wanted.
Right.
I mean, obviously, because, you know, you're working with other people and their ideas and their energy. So I decided to start producing for myself. And once I did that, things really started falling into place as to what I really wanted my sound to be. And eventually it became one of those things where I felt so in love with producing and being that kind of artist that it just was a natural transition for me, so to speak. And I decided to hang it up, so to speak, or just kind of put it to the side. Right after my second after I put out Beautiful Nights, that album, Blue Midnight, is when I decided to kind of hang it up, because I had produced Black Sinatra, I had produced Blue Midnight, and everybody loved those albums. Right. Everybody loved those songs and that music, but nobody was really kind of talking about the fact that I had produced everything on the album as well.
Definitely.
And so that was something that I was like, man, you know, everybody's so into the singing part and how great the vibe is. And I'm like, I actually created that too, but no one really cares about that. So I just said, well, I'll tell you what, let me kind of step back and just get into full producer mode, and then maybe I can help people to understand where I am musically and as an artist. And then that's when Neutronic Suite kind of started taking shape.
Wow. And that personal sort of aspect to it, the death of the singer, birth of the producer, you've brought in your dad into this sort of the creation of the whole image, I guess you could say, of visually what we see when we are looking at the cover art for Neutronic Suite, because it's stunning, right? Your dad created this for you. Talk a little bit about that and the influence that not only his visuals but his musical stylings and tastes had on what we're hearing from you now.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So I kind of, it was a dream come true for me, really. I had said it online, but I also said it at the album release party. But it was a dream come true for me to actually combine what I do and what my father does. We've always wanted to do it pretty much through my whole career. I've been performing and putting out albums, you know, for a very long time, since like 2001, 2002. And we never were able to merge the worlds. You know, because he's a fantastic collage artist by the name of Dallin Smith. Mm-hmm. And, you know, his work is very reminiscent of Ramir Bearden, Jean-Michel Basquiat, things of that sort. I felt as though he was as brilliant and talented as those artists. And I wanted to make sure that the world got a chance to see, but I wanted to make sure that it was the right album.
Right.
So this seemed like the right album to do this with, because it fit what I do and what he does perfectly. And as you can see from, you know, the cover of the album, it just kind of worked beautifully.
It really does, yeah.
Everything came together. And so now I'm just happy that the whole world will get to see my dad's work. You know what I mean? I felt like he's in Baltimore with me, and he never really got the chance to get out there in the world and have people all over the world see his work.
Wow.
So this was my gift, in trying to help him, everybody see his artwork and see his talent and let the world see what he can do.
That's incredible. Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. Well, it's beautiful, and it's out there now, right? You've unleashed the baby. So
Yep.
let's
It's
get
out
into
there.
it. I'm ready for this, right? I have been haranguing you, hounding you.
Yes,
So, I can't-
yes,
I
you
can't-
have, Lucia.
I can't ask any questions then.
So
Look,
you hear
JSOUL.
Sessions behind me. He doesn't want to
JSOUL.
run away yet. Hold on.
Listen, I'm standing here waiting for the
Okay.
chance to ask the question, and it's obfuscating everywhere. So I just want to go back to what you said about the transition between from your singing side to your production side. Does that mean you're not ever going back to the singing side?
I don't know, man. Like it's possible, man. I think just that desire to want to do that right now isn't there. I'm actually, I'm singing on the album. I'm on the Neutronic Suite. I'm on one of the songs, right?
Nice.
You know what I mean? But it's like I have to be inspired again to kind of want to get into that realm
Gotcha.
anymore. You know what I mean? And so, it can happen. You know what I mean? But I don't. For right now, I just don't foresee it. I just really want to just stay on the production side, and every once in a while, just kind of bring out the vocal situation.
All right, gotcha. Okay, you can continue.
Oh, Lord. All right. So, yeah, I'm dying to jump into it. I have been haranguing you, right? I've been in your ear, I think every few months, telling you just unleash it. But I'm glad that, you didn't give in to peer pressure. This first song that we're going to start with is Arrival in AD, right? And we're going to go in complete order because of the entire, the feel of this entire thing. So Arrival in AD. Talk a little bit about this.
Arrival in AD is pretty much the beginning of the journey. As you said before, it's like the record is like almost like a trip, almost. And so every trip starts with a step forward or a beginning. And so this particular track is just kind of infusing all of the different elements that people are going to hear throughout the album. I classify the genre that I created for this particular record is Afro Electric Soul.
Right.
That's my hashtag. That's my little description of what the record is. So it's just all these different elements of Afro beat, Afro rhythms. Just us as being Africans, our culture, and then moving on to the electric part, lots of synths and heavy bass lines, kick snares, things of that sort, and then we finally move towards the soul element, which gives you all of the spirit of the album. So the first track is the beginning of that. And one note, when people hear it, they're going to hear some screaming, some tribal screaming. Those are actual Zulu women who are actually screaming at birthing ceremonies. And so I decided to sample them and kind of put them into the song as a way to symbolize that the birthing of this album is happening and we're getting ready to take off.
We're getting ready to take off. Let's leave it with that. This first track we're going to get into off of Neutronic Suite by JSOUL is Arrival in AD. Yes. Arrival in AD, first track off of Neutronic Suite by JSOUL, and an absolute journey. I did definitely hear the tribal birth screams. I would have never.
See, I was trying to listen out for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it pass you?
You passed me.
Yeah.
And no, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's a great thing. You know, the fact that he said it, now listen out for it. I didn't quite catch it, but it's so embedded inside the music. It's dope, man.
It raps in. Yeah.
So JSOUL, like when I first heard this track, it reminded me of someone from the UK. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. A guy called IG Culture. You ever heard of him?
I don't believe I have.
Nah,
but I
okay.
want to look into him.
You look into him. So he did Afrofuturistic soul back in 98, 99, 2000. And it so much reminded me of IG Culture and the style that he kind of put out. I love it. It's great. I like the changes.
Oh, beautiful.
I like the changes.
Me as well.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. I'm definitely going to check him out.
Yeah, make sure you check him out. But so this particular one, Arrival in AD, kind of talked about, you know, the creation of it. So why the title?
Well, you know, obviously, you know, the word arrival just meaning, you know, just the coming through or the landing or the actual deliverance of something. And so that's what this album is. Like the album has arrived. It's time to get going. And just AD, just, you know, just the actual, you know, because it's 2019 AD, right? So it's just not one of those type of things where it's a date kind of situation where I've arrived and now is the time, today is the day. You know what I mean? This year, this generation, this time period that we're in is AD. And so, you know, that's just a combining of the words and wordplay and, you know, from the transition.
Dope.
Yeah, and clearly there's a lot of thought, the connections that you're making between all of it, right? The art, the song, but then to go as far as to even have birthing sounds on the song that's representing the birth of this new, this new voyage or journey. That's pretty deep. I absolutely love it.
And it's also like a new sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People have heard, you know, soul music from me, neo soul, whatever, and they've heard boom bap and hip hop, but this is something totally different. So that's why it's, you know, the arrival of something new, you know?
Yeah, and I was going to say that this is a very, very different sound to JSOUL's normal sound.
Yes.
But, you know, you can see elements of that. Like, we can't talk about the secret stuff there, JSOUL, that you've kind of been working on, but you kind of start to see elements of that coming through in his music, especially in these later productions. And some of these instrumentals you started pointing out, you start seeing the elements start to creep in, but I think this is really the fully realized, this is what it is.
Yeah.
All right, so the next we're going to roll into is Rosette Nebular. Tell me about this one. I know Nebular, there's some star connection.
You don't know what Nebula is?
I don't, man. I can't even
Google it, man.
I'm not going to Google.
That's what Google's for.
This guy, man.
Yeah, so basically, you know, a Rosette Nebula is basically like I'm really into like astronomy and the stars, and you know, I'm into like just galaxies and things of that sort and how it interlocks with us here, you know, on Earth. But you know, a Rosette Nebula is basically this cluster of stars within the Milky Way, and so it's actually once again a very beautiful thing to look at. When you Google a picture of it, it actually looks like a rose.
Oh wow.
It's actually a spherical kind of thing. It has all these brilliant reds in them and different colors. And if anybody's ever looked at my past records, I always have colors in there. So I got Black Sinatra, I got Blue Midnight, you know what I mean? Like just things of that nature. And so Rosette Nebula was kind of like, at this point of the journey, we're in the Milky Way, because the Milky Way is the galaxy that we live in, right? You know, that's the galaxy that we're in. That's the galaxy that Earth is inside of. So we are now leaving Earth. We're leaving from the motherland. We started from nature down to, you know, going up into the sphere, the atmosphere and space. And now we're into the Rosette Nebula, which is the actual galaxy, you know, the actual region inside of the Milky Way.
All right, so we're off on our journey now. Rosette Nebular, this is track number 2 on Neutronic Suite, y'all. You're still locked into iLive Radio with JSOUL, DJ Sessions, and myself, Lucia D. Yes, this one here, Rosette Nebula, off of the latest by JSOUL, Neutronic Suite. I love it.
Yeah, it's groovy. I like it. I like it. JSOUL. I like it. It's a very.
Well, I'm glad you like it, sir.
There's a very it's very comedic vibe from it all. That makes sense. You know what comedics are?
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
like if Earth, Wind and Fire were going to do future music and instrumentals, that's how I feel it all will sound like. It has a very yeah.
Wow, that's a high compliment.
Yeah, kind of like
that's
pyramid.
a high compliment. Earth, Wind and Fire, the elements, man.
Yeah, yeah. This one here for me,
That's the foundation right there.
There you go.
It feels like a pick up and start moving forward type of vibe. Like I want to I'm moving from one place to another, right? There's a lightness to it.
Like a travel.
Yeah, it makes me want to travel. It's a traveling type of
traveling
feel,
song.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see yourself in a fast car.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Playing
this one
that song.
driving. And, when I first spoke to you about it, I was saying I was driving the first time that I listened to it top to bottom. And no word of a lie, there were some songs I had an issue with. I had issues because I blipped out on them, if you know what I mean.
Oh,
right?
wow.
Yeah, some of the songs were, don't drive, but don't drive with this one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So when were you driving with this
Oh,
song?
wow.
top to bottom?
I can't tell you.
Yeah, be safe out there, people. Be safe out there.
Yeah, be safe
Listen
out there.
responsibly.
Neutronic Suite, man. I'll
Absolutely,
take you
man.
straight
Now,
to space.
JSOUL, I'm trying to work out when she was driving, listening to that song top to bottom.
Where was I driving?
Seeing it, no, not where. When?
I'm not telling you.
You can't tell me. All right. I won't say anything.
Just don't want people to get all
No, it's
sensitive.
dope. No, it's dope. I mean, the whole idea of, in terms of what you said about, you know, you're leaving Mother Earth, you're going to the Rosetta Nebula, you know, that whole journey to reach that destination. You can kind of see, you know, the traveling vibe.
Yeah, most definitely.
That's what I said. It's very like I look at like Earth, Wind and Fire's music, very much like that, right? Like non-earthly music. Like it's very, very spiritual, very space-like.
Yes.
You know, look, take Beijo, for example. Even though it's all vocals, it's very, you know, kind of out there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of out there.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you.
See, I have value.
I see that. I said, don't hurt nobody.
Of course, man. Of course you got that.
This brother. Yes, Lord. All right, third track we're gonna get into. I'm actually partial to this particular track, right? This one for me, the sound of Honey Drop is what I'm gonna give it. I love this particular. There's something about the groove of this one that holds me by my collar and it forces my neck to snap. Like it's definitely a neck slapping, and it's not a agitated, super busy type of track. It's just, it's a neck snap song.
Well, you just spoiled it for everybody.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm excited, man.
chance.
Damn, y'all try to don't keep baby in the corner. Let me free. You know, I'm a
I do that,
peacock.
man.
You gotta let me fly.
Let everyone's head snap first, then you can say you snap your head.
Okay, I'll snap my head after.
Or during.
Gotta let me fly, man. Tell me about this one. Oh, JSOUL. I was about to call you by your government. You want to tell a dream?
Yeah, I mean, you know, so Dream just basically is exactly what it is. I called it that because it just kind of had this dream kind of feel to it. And I just imagined if I was to do any sort of traveling, outer world traveling, at some point I'm going to be closing my eyes and thinking to myself, man, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe that I'm actually here and this is happening right now. And I can only imagine what that might feel like. And so that's what this track really is. It's just like my imagination running wild, sort of, and me dreaming about what it would be to travel and leave and, you know, just kind of express who I am freely without any sort of, you know, hindrance or any sort of, you know, rules and things of that sort. This is a very free track for me.
Yeah.
That's why I love it so much.
Yeah, I dig that. I'm not going to say another word because I'm giving it away, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one here, y'all, third track off of Neutronic Suite. This is Dream by JSOUL.